Well, I wasn't gonna do a video on these patch notes, but I feel obligated because some of these changes are pretty crazy. For those that don't know, a new patch is coming out tomorrow morning, April 30th at 8 a.m. Eastern. This includes a new premium cosmetic for Sissy that'll cost $2.99, as well as a new unlockable blackout cosmetics that are for level 99 players. There are also a handful of patch notes that include perk changes and a few bug fixes. Real quick, before I go on my tangent, let's go ahead and take a look at the full patch notes. Tuned Fired Up perk. We have tuned the Fired Up perk accordingly. Level 1, after running out of stamina, there's a 25% less delay. Level 2, 50% less delay. Level 3, 75% less delay before stamina starts regenerating again. Not a huge nerf, but a nerf nonetheless. Tuned Scout. We have tuned the Scout perk accordingly. The perk Scout now affects stamina regeneration as opposed to melee damage. At level 1, your movement speed is increased by 5%, but stamina regeneration rate is 20% slower. Movement speed at level 2 is 10%, stamina regen 15% slower. Level 3, 15% speed boost, and stamina regeneration rate is 10% slower. This is the one I got an issue with. We'll get back to it. Tuned Extra Drip. Level 1 now is 1 HP for 8 seconds. Level 2, 2 HP for 10 seconds. Level 3, 3 HP for 12 seconds. Empowered has been adjusted. Now it doesn't give you any health back at all, just stamina. 50%, 70%, and 90% of your stamina back. No health at all. Another one that just a little confused by. We'll come back to it. Grappler has also been adjusted. Now with each button tap, it's 10% more effective, 20% more effective, and 30% more effective at level 3. Another pretty big change there. Fast hands has been adjusted. Now instead of being 25, 50, and 100% faster when picking with a family member within 10 meters, it's 25, 50, and 75%. Really not that big of a change. Fast hands is still going to be just fine. With that said, they also fixed the issue with fast hands equipped for being awarded additional progress during the lockpicking minigame regardless of family member proximity. Fast hands will now properly trigger only when a family member is within 10 meters. I never had that issue, so I don't really think fast hands is going to feel any different, but we'll see how it goes. The rescue medic has also been fixed. It wasn't working with Virginia's level 3 ability. Now it does work, so at level 3, Rescue Medic will work in tandem with the level 3 boon ability as well. Fixed medical benefits perk. Similar to the issue described above, we fixed a problem where the perk medical benefits would not trigger with Virginia's level 3 boon. Medical benefits heal as a fellow victim as you also heal yourself. So again, another fix there. Virginia kind of getting some casual buffs here, but that's really just fixes at the end of the day. Rough Cut. We have fixed an issue where Leatherface's perk Rough Cut was not activating properly all the time. The perk will now activate properly for all chainsaw attack types. Very big deal for overhead Leatherface hits. Rough Cut didn't work before. Now it does. So a little bit of a buff there too. Fixed Head Start perk. We fixed an issue where Danny's perk Head Start was incorrectly highlighting fuses and valves for all victims. Now inactive fuse and valve highlights will only be visible to the perk holder. Fixed security pins and Cook's locks. We fixed the issue where the perk security pins would not apply to Cook's locks when another family member would interact with it. Security pins works as follows: 10, 13, 50% harder to unlock for victims. That was pretty annoying, and if you weren't looking out for it, you wouldn't catch it. So security pins could have been useless quite a bit during the last update. Now it's good to go. The padlock visibility for Cook has been fixed on the slaughterhouse metal door. You will now be able to see it inside of the focus ability. They fixed a bug where victims were able to keep a bone scrap when stabbing Nugget. Now when stabbing Nugget, the bone scrap will be consumed. And last but not least, fixed Virginia's localization. We fixed the issue of Virginia's tutorial. Her description, perk names, and related content were not localized when switching to different languages. Now it's good to go. Okay, so a lot of this on paper sounds pretty good, right? Like they're addressing the perks that need to be addressed, but they're doing it in weird ways that I would never expect them to do. Let's look at Scout, for example. Scout, instead of making it where it does even less melee damage, which I think would be the adjustment to make, if you want all that speed, okay, that's fine, but you're gonna have to have less melee damage. Right now, at level 3, it's only 10% less melee damage. Instead of increasing that number, they just remove all of the melee damage removal and have it go towards your stamina instead, which can directly be countered with things like Fired Up or, you know, easily tuckered out. So I don't really understand the change to Scout. And it's going to be extremely noticeable on Johnny and Leatherface, When the most meta build in the game is Leatherface Scout, Hysterical Strength, which gives you extra damage when you have low stamina, and Violent, which gives you bonus damage. The point of running those perks originally was because you were counteracting the melee damage that Scout removed from you. So you ran Scout and Leatherface, okay, I'm going to run Hysterical Strength and Violent to counteract that damage. Now, keep that build exactly the same. Run Scout, run Hysterical Strength, and run Violent. Not only are you going to get the ability Hysterical Strength, you're going to get that activated sooner because your stamina has been nerfed, but you're also going to get more damage from Scout now, and combine that with Violent. One-hit Leatherface builds, they're back. Like, honestly, that's what I foresee happening. Now, who knows? This could play completely differently, but on paper, what I see is a pretty significant buff to Leatherface and Johnny. And I don't think that's really what people were asking for. I don't think that's the change that really needed to be put in at all. And of course, you combine that significant buff to Johnny and Leatherface with the nerfs to Empowered. The Empowered nerf's huge. I don't think you had to remove all health from Empowered, but I would drop it significantly where you don't get all your health back in a single go, to the point where while you're getting your ass whooped in the middle of a grapple, you still can survive and get all your health back in the middle of it. That's not really what people were asking for. It was more of, you know, don't remove it all, but just pull it down significantly. That's really it. Empowered, that's going, if it stays the way it is with this update, it's out of the meta for sure. No one's gonna touch it anymore unless you really want it. If you're, you know, running a Nancy's house to the front gate or something, or at Family House, something like that. Otherwise, it's gonna fall out of the meta for sure. And again, on top of the Empowered change, you have the extra drip change. I think it's a good change. I actually think that's fine to me. Extra drip, I think that's right where it needs to be. Instead of 6 HP per second, 3 HP per second makes sense to me. But again, you're combining it with a significant buff to the two most powerful fan members in the game. I don't know. And of course, the change to Grappler is a much needed change. There were too many people really taking advantage of really bullying that tactic, just grapple over and over again, and combining with Choose Fight, which, by the way, didn't get touched in this update. Choose Fight is the most annoying perk to deal with right now as a family member. It's horrible. It's really annoying. Well, that didn't get touched at all, but Grappler now has been pulled back significantly. I think that's fair. It might be enough to scare off victims from grappling so much and so often, but I don't know. It's just weird to have nerfs on one side and buffs on the other, even though the Scout change feels like it was supposed to be a nerf, but it's really not, because you can easily counter it. I don't know. It actually, and not only can you easily counter it, but it's what you want on the meta Leatherface build. You want to run out of stamina when you're running Hysterical Strength. Now Scout is helping you do that, and you're not losing damage. Do we not see the problem in that? I don't understand. I've been saying it for a while, okay? There are things broken on the meta game for victims, absolutely. The grapple meta, it is very annoying to deal with, I totally agree. But as somebody who plays a lot of Leatherface, I have almost 4,800 kills in TCM. Most of them come from Leatherface. I don't think he needs Scout. I don't think he needs it at all. And that was before these changes, okay? Now you're talking about a significant buff to Leatherface, and the main meta build that most people are running as Leatherface just got a big buff. It just remove it from a skill tree. Really. Don't remove Scout. Don't remove it from the game. But it probably shouldn't be on his skill tree at all anymore. It didn't before this update. Now, it really doesn't need to be there. It blows my mind that that's the change. But I don't want to sit here and rant and rave over it for 30 minutes, okay? We need to play it tomorrow. We need to see it in action. How bad is it really going to be? But my gut tells me it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. Those overheads are going to be rough. Those overhead hits are going to be rough. And it's going to be really tough to avoid him now. Moral of the story, they're looking at the right perks, right? They're looking at the perks that we all know are broken in some way, shape, or form, but they're just not really adjusting them in the way that I would ever predict or want or expect. You know, it just doesn't feel like the right changes to me, but I could be wrong. You know, obviously they're doing QA testing, you know, whether we give them flack for it, but they're doing testing in some way, shape, or form for these changes. you would think that maybe they're catching things that we're not. I don't know, maybe upon balancing and upon testing the changes, they found that this worked better than others. I don't know, but I'm just a little nervous. That's all, but it's hard to say until tomorrow. We'll try out tomorrow and we'll see how it goes. Then we'll come back to this conversation and we'll discuss it further then. But let me know your thoughts on this. Am I crazy? Is the scout change crazy? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That's a wrap this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more updates like this one. Of course, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.